Even is happiness? How can we keep it? How do we encapsulate the precious feeling inside ourselves until we are glowing inside out with joy? How can anyone truly be happy? These are the thought-provoking questions that I ask myself to embark on this journey. A journey that required many hours of extensive research and a lack of sleep in the attempt to understand a concept, an emotion, something that scientists themselves still don't comprehend completely, much less a 15-year-old amateur filmmaker. However, I self-directed myself to the obligation of helping the common good by doing the thing that makes me happy, being happy.